And do you think with, say, as compared to the 30s, with sovereign debt and private debt to GDP ratios all much higher, that there is a basis for the reluctance to stimulate aggregate demand? Or do you think that this is what you might call the Austerian's mirage, where we needn't worry?
I think we need to worry, and we need to worry a great deal, because the debt is not a problem.
Yeah.
This crisis, just like in the 1930s, come to think of it, has two different facets. One coin with two different faces. One face of it is the mountain of debt. If you look just at that mountain of debt, it looks stupendous, it looks huge, it looks worrying. And people say, oh my God, we have to cut. But what these people fail to see is there is another mountain of similar size, the mountain of savings that then don't have anywhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a mountain of savings, idle, not going into any productive investment because of the lack of confidence caused by the crisis and the lack of recycling, and you have a mountain of debt. Now, the only way of overcoming the crisis is by folding those two into one and recycling them in a way that restarts the economy, providing the missing link of the aggregate demand, not through taxing and spending, but through finding a way. Roosevelt did not tax and spend effectively. Roosevelt's whole point was how to put to work idle savings and do it
regenerate the real economy.
Exactly. He succeeded to some extent. Well, now, do we need a world war, or can we act rationally without one? That is a big question.
Well, I think that's a very important question, because it would be unprecedented for us to act rationally without the war.
But let's hope that this is, one of those occasions in history when we do something for the first time. My great worry is my home continent, Europe. Because Europe is, I think the United States has learned a huge lesson from the 1930s. Even though you had a period of inanity with Alan Greenspan and the neoliberals effectively losing the plot of not understanding what happened really in 1929. Still, in this country, the United States of America, there is a deep appreciation of what really went down. Europe seems to have forgotten that. And I blame America for that.
For not engaging them?
For allowing particularly the Germans to get away with thinking that that it is possible to sustain growth long term by treating a large economy like Germany or the Eurozone as if it were a magnificent workshop, where all you have to worry about is the quality of the products, and not to worry about where demand will come from. And the reason why they didn't have to worry about that was between 1944 and 2008, the United States of America, either through the Bretton Woods system of recycling or the Global Minotaur system of recycling, was ensuring that there would always be demand for Mercedes-Benzes and German capital goods. After 2008, it is China's stimulus economic policies that are doing this job for Germany. At some point, Germany and the Europeans must decide that Europe is rich enough, it has sufficient problems, and they can be dealt with endogenously within Europe. But that requires that Europe will have to come to terms with the fact that there is no American hegemon anymore to look after the generation of sufficient demand for the sale of European exports overseas.
And do you think that the Germans can break the habit of needing to have a surplus in order for their economy to function?
Look, there are always going to be surplus countries, and there are always going to be deficit countries. The important thing, and that's what Keynes taught us, is that you need to have the recycling. So I don't have a problem with Germany. Germany will always have a surplus. I mean, they are just such a strong industrial society, and I applaud them for that. They have to look after the recycling. They've got to understand that the reason why they were so successful from the end of the war to 2008 to today is because other nations were taking care of recycling that was beneficial to them. Those other nations, first the United States and soon China, will no longer be able to do that. And with wealth comes responsibility.